you could take these the two parts here before you stick them on, lay them on something and use that for the line, the shape, which is the actual part. That's what to do. And this takes 3 inches off the depth of a boat that's only like 12 or 14 inches deep. I suppose you could put a drop-in piece here laid on the bottom of the boat with some thin strips bonded to the back so the water wouldn't collect too deep under there. And it would spread the load out better. But I thought it was just simple to do that. I mean, this is not naval architecture, this is the toy boat. Okay. So it's 15 feet long, 5 feet 3/8 of an inch wide. Sort of a multi-purpose kind of deal. Oh, that's the line projected for that shape. If you project the line from the tilted shape, it will be the shape it has to be if it was drawn on the flat. So that's what that's all about. I always like these views because you can get some idea what you've done inside. And of course, this still has the little divots from drilling holes through your boat with the CAD. And you can get some idea what the cockpit shape actually is. And these two weren't separated yet. That's what the drilled hole looks like before you separate it. This line here is actually cut in two. Well, it's grouped. Otherwise, only one half would have changed color. I did a video just before this one. I got my boxes of cracker boxes and a cookie box all stacked up here down to the floor to sit the phone on. So I did two while I was doing it. I don't know if I can upload them because I have trouble with YouTube right now. I can't open it. I don't know if it'll let me upload some back doorway I might find to get into it. But I think I'm going to do a tunnel boat. I haven't done one of those. Actually, I've never built one of those. Tunnel boat's a hydroplane. It's got two sponsons down the side. Think catamaran. The middle of the boat doesn't touch the water. This one will. You can build a hydroplane that sits on just the sponsons. It's really twitchy to drive. It wants to zigzag left and right, and if it gets the least bit too much air on it, it blows over. It'll also it can dig a chine in on a turn and flip sideways. And the way you get around that is you make it into a milk stool, which slows it down because you got more surfaces in contact with the water. Even though you got less weight on the sponsons and some of the weight on the third surface, you put you a surface in the back under the motor, or just in front of the motor if it's outboard hanging on the back, and that lets it ride on 3 points. It still traps air. And you can raise up the sides after the step. Think of two water skis with a motor on it. It's like two water skis. And I'm going to build this on the size where you could put like a Mitsubishi 4G63 4-cylinder twin cam engine. Those have been turbocharged for tuner cars to 1100 horsepower. So I figure if you put a turbo on for around 300 horsepower, and you use the 4G63T, which was a turbo engine, it has all the composition in the metal and the connecting rods and stuff like that. It has low compression pistons because it's a turbo engine. So you don't have to do anything internal. Just put a bigger turbo on it. And the thing is, don't overheat it. You know, just because the cooling is, you know, going to be for the 175 horsepower they put out when it was stock. You're going to double that. So, of course, this kind of a boat has a radiator, and it's got a water intake and its own little electric pump, and it pumps water from under the boat through the intercooler. That way you haven't got salt water going into your engine. The intercooler catches hell, but you can build it out of Inconel or something. It doesn't have to have a lot of fins on it, because all it needs is the surface area of the pipes. That part's like any inboard boat that you put together. Anyway, I'm going to do a tunnel haul next. Something to do. I'll probably start it this afternoon, unless I find a really good movie to watch. I don't know if there's any I haven't seen. Okay, this video is not quite an hour yet. I might make it one piece, I don't know. Nobody watches my channel anyway, so it doesn't make a whole hell of a lot of difference. A whole bunch of a lot of difference, sorry. Excuse the language. But with the virus, they haven't got any sensors. And these things take, today is the 16th of April. It takes about most of a day, or if I started at night, it takes all night to process this through Movie Maker to get it into a MP4-H264 format, which is supposed to work better with YouTube. It's the YouTube's native format. That's what it processes the thing into when you upload it. So when these things upload, if they ever do upload, if it doesn't bulk on it and kick it and everything, then the processing time is almost zero at YouTube because it's already in the right format. So I do that little bit for them. But if I can't upload through YouTube, I'm probably going to try to upload it with my phone. And if that goes up in 3 minutes, I'll probably be doing a lot of that. It won't change the quality. It's still at 1080p. Okay, and y'all have a wonderful day. And if you thought this was funny or fun, or if you learned something, maybe on how to do some other kind of project out of stitch and glue. You can do car bodies. You can do a lot of things with this. In fact, this kind of designing, you can make like a Lamborghini body or any of these angular looking shapes, and don't put the stitch and glue holes in it. Now weld the seams. Same thing with the bulkheads, and plus you can use a sheet metal brake and bend the edges, and put a rivet here and there and weld the rest. And I might do that later on. Never can tell. No, it depends how long the lockdown lasts. I've always liked that Mazda 787 that won Le Mans, because I got a 5-rotor Wankel engine. Built the end housings out of silicon nodule bearing aluminum so that the seals can run right on the housings. It's the same aluminum, almost the same aluminum, as a Vega cylinder block, where they ran the pistons right on aluminum cylinder walls. And there are some dirt bikes that do the same thing. It's got that aluminum in it. It's an MFH alloy. It's copyright protected. The people with the copyright have never made a part. They don't sell rights to use it. But I'm in Asia. And the thing about Asia is they don't much pay attention in China to anybody's copyrights. If I had to do some more, I wouldn't have to mix aluminum myself. It's hard to source the silicon nodules, and the first couple parts, I thought, gee, how many cubic inches is the side housing, and how many cubic inches is in a Vega block? Well, I weighed a Vega block, figured out the cubic inches. It's going to take 2 for a side housing with average losses, and it took over 3. So I ended up 30-some junk Vega engine blocks turned into one rotary engine with a lot of scrap left over. And the parts were all made to fit into my metal lathe, which swings 27 by 11 feet 8. So I can face the parts off. And then I got a traveling grinder that goes on the tool post to polish the crap out of them. and then I got a CNC machine that it's a router, and cut O-ring grooves in the faces. The housings are two-piece, the front and the back, with the water passages in between and an O-ring seal. They did it that way, and part of the reason for doing the housings was for an airplane, but needed to be lighter than cast iron. The iron is an excellent material for that. It's just heavy. But the problem I had to do away with was the engines, when they heat one side, the other end doesn't get as hot. The intake end is cooled by the charged cool air with the gas in it, or with the injection after it's in the engine, but it's cold, and the other side is the hot side. 1/3 of the diameter thing is hot, and it makes the engine, we call it banana, makes a curve, hard on all the parts. Hard to keep the tension rods. That's the bolts that go from one end to the other to hold it all together. It's like cylinder rods on an air cylinder or hydraulic cylinder. One side doesn't have any load on it, the other side's completely loaded. So I added another 4 rods, moved them farther out on the extra ones than the ones that go through the holes. The ones through the holes in the housings are identical to Mazda. The rest of them are spread out wider. But the big change was the coolant doesn't go down through one side of all the rotors, turn around at the end and come back. Not a problem on a 2-rotor. And it worked on 3 rotors. But when you start putting a 3 and a 2 together, you take the 3 and stick it on the front of a 2, and that way one fault grid coupling will tie it all together. And you have a 1-piece eccentric shaft, that's the crankshaft piece of the thing, out the back. And then you put a Porsche-style flywheel on it. So, or you can put a sheet metal flywheel off the Mazda. Goes right on it, no problem at all. All you're using it for is the ring gear. You just a heavier flywheel takes some of the resonance issues away. You can put a torsional vibration dampener on the other end too. Anyway, I'd like to have one of those motors shipped over here. It comes apart into little bitty pieces. You fit in a Balik Bion box for sure. And then I could probably put, it's 125 pounds. Take 2 boxes, because I'm only allowed 100 in my shipper. And he knows me well enough, he's going to weigh every damn thing I bring him. Okay, I don't know how we got off on that. Anyway, the tunnel boat's going to be designed to use a 4-cylinder Mitsubishi or the Hyundai copy of it, which is virtually identical. All the parts interchange. I don't know how about the quality of the materials from Korea, but I look at some of the stuff they build, and they're an industrial capitalist society on that. So it's probably very good. The Japanese are well known for their quality. They're meticulous. And if I can get the Mitsubishi one, I'll buy it over the Hyundai. If I can't get it, I'll have no problem using Hyundai. And then the a Toyota Celica Supra engine, straight 6. They came turbo. Actually, they did not come turboed. The engine was designed to be turboed, but they never manufactured it in a turbocharged version. It made plenty of power without it. So if you have a Celica Supra and got a turbocharger, look for some hand-fabricated parts, because that thing did not come with it. And they're good for 1,300 horsepower. I don't know what it'll take to push a tunnel boat. It's a planing hull. I would think 35 horsepower inboard outboard would make it really go. And the nice thing about the Philippines, it's lousy for surfing because there's no waves. You see people out there bragging about their surfing, it's on a 3-foot wave. Well, we don't have a 9-inch wave here in 6 years. I cross that bridge every time I go to the farm, and it's just flat. You go to the swimming beaches, you're in the Pacific Ocean or you're in Manila Bay, depends on which one you go to. It's flat. If it's in Manila Bay, you can tell it's there because the water's so filthy. It's sort of a brown color, and if it's blue-green, you're in the Pacific probably, or you're away from the Delta. If you get far enough away from the Delta, it's clean water. But I'm sure that I could run a tunnel boat out there around this island, on our side of the island at least. I've seen some 2-foot waves on videos from Bohol, but you sure can't surf a 2-foot wave. You can surf a wake on a power boat, which is not much taller than that, but you can't surf a 2-foot wave. Doesn't last long, doesn't break. Okay, y'all have a great day, and if you learned anything at all, you can give me a thumbs up. if I ever get back to my opening my actual YouTube, I could see that. Thank you. Have a wonderful day.